We are introducing, for the first time, it's the debut of our completely unbiased Big 12 plus 4, the 4 teams coming in, including Brigham, power rankings. So, Spence, let's walk through this, what we have determined.
Sports Nation, Big 12 plus 4, power rankings.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to do this throughout the season, basically so we can see where we think BYU fits, okay? We include Texas and Oklahoma, of course, until they leave the league, which is not for this plus 2 seasons, okay? All right, we have Oklahoma as the top team. I think that's pretty clear. People feel that way, although I don't buy into Dillon Gabriel as a starting quarterback per se. Maybe because BYU just absolutely destroyed Dillon Gabriel in the Boca Raton Bowl in 2020.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, and listen, it's the post-Lincoln Riley era, so how much of a drop-off will Oklahoma have?
Yeah.
They feel like that they're re-energized, and they're almost angry that happened, and so they the sense I get from Oklahoma is the Lincoln Riley departure has motivated them, it has inspired them. All the players have said, oh, we rallied around the new coach, we didn't want him anyway. And so they're going off pure raw emotion here. I do think they have the most talent of any team in the Big 12 for sure. If they can, indeed, as they say, they will rally, they'll be the best team in the Big 12 when it is all said and done.
And this is as of right now, right? And we'll go through the season. This is not our prediction. This is what we think right now going into the year. Brent Venables, the longtime Clemson DC, the head coach at Oklahoma now. Oklahoma State, they're coached by a man, Mike Gundy, who is over 40 at this point, a team that was a New Year's Six team last year. Then we have Baylor in the top 3 there. What do you think of that? Could Baylor won the league last year, but we have them at 3.
Yeah, Baylor probably feels disrespected by our completely unbiased Big 12 plus 4 initial power rankings, Jarom. I'm sure they're super angry that they're all the way down at number 3. They should be at least at number 2, not behind Oklahoma State. But again, I think you and I are kind of on the same page with Baylor, where it's yeah, they're really good. Their offensive line is going to be really good. They return a ton of talent, but they did lose some major, impactful pieces. So I think they're really good. I don't think they're top 10 good right now, Jarom. I think they're top 20 good, but I don't think they're top 10 good, which is why I put them at number 3.
Blake Shapen at quarterback now, who took over for Gary Bohannon, which we will see Saturday at South Florida there. Okay, we have Cincinnati after that. They lost 9 NFL draft picks, but a ton of respect, obviously, for Luke Fickell and his program. Then we have BYU all the way up at 5.
Yeah, not a shocker that BYU's in the top 5 of this ranking.
Completely unbiased, of course.
To the credit of BYU and Kalani Sitake, why would they not be in the top 5 of this ranking coming off a season where they went 6-1 against 7 Power 5s? They've won 10-plus games in back-to-back seasons. They finished in the top 20 rankings of back-to-back seasons. And apparently, their offensive line is better. Their starting quarterback is back. Why would BYU not be in the top 5? Give me that argument. I tried. I literally tried. Is there a reason that BYU shouldn't be in this top 5? No. Who's over them right now with what BYU brings back?
We have Texas then Houston. I could see an argument for Houston over Texas at this point because Houston is one of those G5 sleepers last year of being a group of 5 who could knock on that New Year's Six door as the rep.
Yeah, and what's wild as I look at Texas and Houston and then Kansas State, UCF, and TCU, I'm thinking, man, there are a lot of really, really solid, good teams in this league.
Get used to it.
Iowa State and Texas Tech are 11 and 12 in this power poll. Going to Ames is going to be a huge challenge. There's not a lot separating number 3 from number 11, right? It's just very, very, very tightly contested. You got to go all the way to West Virginia, which is kind of like a rebuilding program, and then Kansas, which is just, they're bad year in and year out. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
But literally from number 3 to number 10 or 11, Jarom, would anybody be shocked if Iowa State beat Baylor in football head-to-head this year? No, because they're good, respectable programs.
Matt Campbell runs a great program there, even though he's got the bill of his hat bent in a weird way, whatever. Okay, Kansas State after Houston, UCF, TCU, Iowa State way down there at 11, Texas Tech, West Virginia, and Kansas, of course. So any surprises in this list to you? Iowa State kind of sticks out as being kind of low at 11. Granted, didn't have a great year last year. The previous year, they won the Big 12 2 years ago in the kind of weird COVID year, of course. But we have BYU all the way at 5. We feel pretty good about this. And I wish so bad, Spence, that this BYU team could play in the Big 12. Because I just think they'd have a shot at the title, whereas next year we feel like if BYU's really good this year, they're going to lose a lot of those pieces.
Yeah, it's we've talked about this before with Jaron Hall. Like, technically, Jaron has a couple of years of eligibility left.
Has another one.
Oh, man, maybe Jaron, he's coming back to lead BYU into the Big 12, but that would mean that maybe he didn't accomplish what he wanted to this year, and he didn't raise his draft stock.
He got hurt.
Maybe there's an injury involved. And so, yeah, like we want Jaron to play like at a super high level this year and maximize his NFL draft potential and go. And so not having a veteran starting quarterback coming back as BYU transitions into the Big 12 is tough, which is, I think, why we're doing this poll. It's like, no, let's keep it going. Let's try and play this out in our minds.
Will we
so that
actually
we can
do
kind
this
of,
next
in a way,
year?
Experience this.
Next year we're like, yeah, BYU starts at 9. Like, why wouldn't we do the poll?
Yeah, yikes.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I want to see Jaron Hall play well, like do his thing, and then we'll see what happens when BYU actually gets into the Big 12. But number 5 right now, and we need to keep tabs on this, especially the first one. Screenshot this, baby. We're coming back to this. We'll re-rank all these teams and see where they are at the end of the season. I want to see how close this initial poll is to the final poll.
Yeah, every week.
Yes.
We're paying attention, man. We're paying attention to the Big 12. Let's go.